Ever find yourself staring down the candy aisle, just wondering how all those colorful treats magically appear on the shelves?
Walk Fairy.
Because today's deep dive
Because we're about to unpack.
unpacks the surprisingly complex world of sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution managers.
That's right. And we'll be using insights from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, RoleCatcher, the platform for navigating career paths.
It's a really fascinating blend of, logistics, consumer trends, and, well, a whole lot of sugar.
More than just moving those sweets from point A to point B, though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
This role demands some serious strategic thinking and a deep understanding of the market.
Imagine like orchestrating the journey of a chocolate bar all the way from a factory, let's say in Switzerland,
Okay.
to a supermarket shelf in
Yeah.
time for Halloween.
Yeah.
It takes meticulous planning, and you have to be aware of factors that many people wouldn't even consider.
That's a really great point because it's so easy to overlook that complexity when you're just facing a wall of, colorful candy.
Right.
So let's break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
What does a sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution manager actually do on like a daily basis?
Well, at its core, this role involves overseeing the entire supply chain of sweets.
Right.
Making sure there's a steady flow from those manufacturers to a really surprisingly diverse range of consumers.
Like who?
We're talking grocery stores, specialty shops, online retailers,
Oh, wow.
even vending machines,
Really?
each with its own logistical demands.
Wow. And with the rise of e-commerce, I'd imagine that adds a whole other layer of, complexity onto that.
It really does. A deep understanding of online sales platforms, digital marketing, even social media trends, all becoming super vital in this role.
So you're saying it's not just about trucks and warehouses anymore?
Not at all.
Oh.
Imagine like analyzing those online shopping patterns
Okay.
to optimize the supply chain for seasonal candy rushes,
Oh, that's interesting.
making sure that no trick-or-treater is left without their favorite candy bar on Halloween.
So it's about anticipating those sugar cravings before they even happen.
Yeah, and it's more than just predicting demand, too. You also need to consider things like temperature control for those delicate chocolates, shelf life considerations for, different candies,
Right.
and then the constantly changing landscape of international shipping regulations.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like you need a really highly specialized skill set.
You could say that.
To juggle all those moving parts, what are some key skills that aspiring sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution managers should, really focus on?
Well, analytical thinking is paramount.
Okay.
This role requires sifting through mountains of data to forecast trends, manage inventory, and optimize delivery routes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Strong communication skills are super crucial as well.
Why?
Whether you're negotiating with a supplier to get a better rate, or you're trying to calm a retailer who's worried about a delayed shipment.
Right.
And of course, problem solving is key.
In what way?
Like what happens when a heat wave hits and threatens to melt a whole shipment of chocolate Easter bunnies? These are the types of challenges that you need to be prepared to handle.
Talk about a high-stakes Easter egg hunt. It's clear that this role demands this really unique blend of logistical expertise, market awareness, and quick thinking.
Right.
What would you say are some of the most rewarding aspects of this career path, though?
Well, for one, it's a field that has really high demand,
Yeah.
and there is potential for, significant earning potential.
Of course.
But even beyond the financial rewards, there's just something incredibly satisfying about working with products that bring joy to people's lives.
I can see that.
Plus, who wouldn't love to get to sample the latest confectionery creations?
I have a feeling those employee perks are pretty sweet.
Yeah, they're not bad.
But let's be real, it's not all sugar-coated, right?
Right.
What are some of the challenges that someone might face in this role?
Well, the competition in this field is fierce.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the battle for that last box of limited edition chocolates.
I can imagine.
Be prepared for long hours, especially during peak seasons like Halloween and Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And, as we were talking about earlier, the rise of e-commerce presents its own unique set of challenges.
Right.
It requires constant adaptation to new technologies and, ever-changing consumer behaviors.
So it seems like a career where you really need to constantly be learning and evolving,
Oh, yeah,
just like the confectionery industry itself.
exactly.
So we've established this isn't your average desk job.
Not at all.
It's fast-paced, demanding, and requires staying ahead of the curve.
Right.
Speaking of curves, let's dive a little deeper into this whole e-commerce wave. It's
Okay.
kind of sweeping through the candy distribution world.
Yeah, it's a fascinating evolution.
How so?
E-commerce isn't just like an added channel.
Right.
It's completely transforming the entire landscape of how consumers discover and purchase,
Yeah.
their sweets.
What kind of impact are we seeing like on the ground beyond the obvious shift to online sales? How is this changing the, day-to-day work of a distribution manager?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
In the past, you might have been focused on negotiating, truckloads of candy to physical stores.
Right.
But now
Yeah.
you need to factor in algorithms, online reviews,
Mhm.
even social media buzz.
So a deep understanding of like data analytics is becoming more and more crucial.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like you're tracking the digital sugar rush across the internet.
Exactly. Distribution managers are using data to track everything from, trending flavors
Okay.
and online purchasing patterns to
Yeah.
optimize their inventory
Yeah.
and even predict the next viral candy sensation.
That's incredible. And it really speaks to how this role requires a blend of like those traditional logistical skills
Right.
and then this like cutting edge understanding of the digital marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the data either. E-commerce also brings in challenges like how do you ensure like fast and reliable shipping?
How do you manage those customer expectations in a world of instant gratification?
Yeah.
And even how do you navigate the complexities of online returns for perishable goods?
I can imagine a melted chocolate bar isn't quite as appealing
No, not at
on a
all.
customer's doorstep.
Yeah.
So how does someone even begin to prepare for a career in this constantly evolving landscape? Where does an aspiring sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution manager even begin their journey?
Well, the path often starts with those entry-level roles.
Like what?
Things like distribution assistant or logistics coordinator,
Okay.
those positions provide hands-on experience
In what way?
in warehouse operations, inventory management, and order fulfillment.
Right, so the foundational elements of the industry.
Exactly.
So it's about mastering those core competencies before moving up the ladder.
Yeah, those early roles are like a crash course
Okay,
in the nuts and bolts of candy distribution.
got it.
You'll learn how to track inventory, coordinate those shipments, and even troubleshoot those inevitable logistical hiccups. So building those foundational skills is key. I imagine it's quite different from like managing a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
seeing like pallets of chocolate bars stacked in a warehouse.
For sure. And as you progress, those entry-level experiences become super valuable
Okay.
as you take on greater responsibility. Mid-level roles might involve, managing distribution networks within a specific region,
Okay.
maybe negotiating with transportation providers, or even overseeing a team of warehouse staff.
So it sounds like a combination of logistics, people management, and a little bit of creative problem solving
Yeah, you got it.
thrown in for good measure.
And then as you gain experience and expertise, you might find yourself moving into a more senior management position,
Such as?
perhaps a national distribution manager,
Oh, wow.
or even a global logistics director for like a major confectionery brand.
Now, those are some sweet titles.
They are.
And I imagine the scope of responsibility at that level is pretty significant.
At that stage, you're shaping national or even, global distribution strategies. You're overseeing budgets and ensuring that those sweet treats reach consumers across, borders and time zones.
It's inspiring to think about the career trajectory
It is.
in this field.
Yeah.
You could start on the warehouse floor,
Right.
learning the ins and outs of candy logistics,
Mhm.
and then end up leading a global team shaping the future of how the world enjoys its sweets.
Exactly. And along the way, you're going to gain a deep understanding of supply chain management, consumer behavior, and that ever-evolving world of confectionery.
So it's more than just a job. It's like a front row seat to the global candy craze.
It really is.
And speaking of resources for those listening who might be ready to trade in their spreadsheets for a career path that's maybe a little bit sweeter,
Right.
where can they turn for guidance? I know we've mentioned RoleCatcher a few times.
Yeah, RoleCatcher is an excellent resource for anyone who's exploring this career path.
How so?
They offer really detailed information on industry trends, job postings, and even interview tips that are tailored specifically for roles within the sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution sector.
It sounds like they've got all the ingredients for success there.
They really do. And as we've been saying, this field is about so much more than logistics.
Right.
It's about understanding the cultural significance of candy.
Oh, that's interesting.
those emotional connections people have with certain treats,
Okay.
and how those trends actually shape, the global marketplace.
That's a really interesting point. It's almost like the psychology of candy consumption,
Yeah.
as much as it is about the supply chain itself.
Exactly. Like a skilled sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution manager, they need to understand how cultural traditions can influence those candy preferences.
Okay.
What's popular in Japan
Right.
might not be a hit in Brazil.
That's true.
It's about anticipating those nuances
Right.
and making sure that the right products are available in the right places
Okay.
at the right times.
So you're almost like a cultural ambassador for candy.
Mhm.
You're bridging the gaps
Yeah.
with a well-placed shipment of gummies or a perfectly timed, delivery of chocolate truffles.
That's a great way to put it. And as we kind of look towards the future,
Yeah.
I think we can expect to see even more innovation in how candy is distributed and consumed.
Like what?
Imagine like personalized candy subscriptions
Oh, wow.
that are curated by AI
Okay.
based on your own individual taste preferences,
That's cool.
or even 3D printed chocolate creations delivered straight to your doorstep.
Now, those are some sweet innovations I can get behind. But let's not forget about, the practicalities here.
Right.
As sustainability becomes increasingly important,
Yeah.
I imagine that's going to have a major impact on the confectionery industry,
For sure.
especially when it comes to packaging and transportation.
You're absolutely right. Consumers are definitely becoming a lot more conscious of their environmental footprint,
Yeah,
and they expect the companies that they support to share those values.
of course.
We're already seeing an increase in sustainable packaging options.
Yeah.
Like what?
Things like biodegradable wrappers or refillable candy containers.
It's encouraging to see that the industry is adapting and innovating,
It is.
not just to satisfy our sweet tooths,
Right.
but also to address these larger global challenges as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what makes this field so dynamic and exciting.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving, driven by shifting consumer trends, technological advancements,
Right.
and that global passion for all things sweet.
It sounds like it. So for anyone out there who's ever dreamed of turning their love of candy into a fulfilling career,
Right?
this might be the perfect time to explore the world of sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution.
I couldn't agree more. It's a field with so much potential,
Right.
and it really does offer both personal and professional rewards
Yeah.
for those who are willing to put in the effort.
Well, it's been a fascinating deep dive
It has.
into this surprisingly complex and constantly evolving industry.
It really is.
We explored the ins and outs of the supply chain, the challenges and rewards of this career path, and even got a glimpse into the future
We did.
of how we might be enjoying our favorite treats in the years to come.
That's right.
So if you're intrigued by what you've heard today and want to learn more, be sure to check out RoleCatcher.
Definitely do.
They've got a ton of resources to help you navigate your own sweet journey
That's right.
into the world of sugar, chocolate, and sugar confectionery distribution. Until next time, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.